Hello and welcome to Zero Cool Gaming and this week's game review. Today I will be taking a look at Need for Speed Underground 2. And I can tell you right now that the reviewers did not like this game. Don't know why, but let's get into it anyway. Last year EA took a long running Need for Wow. Last year EA took its long running Need for Speed series in an exciting new direction with the release of Need for Speed Underground. The game worked really well, combining the right level of car customization with good track design, challenging opponents, and impressive graphical effects. Now, 1 year later, a sequel is on the streets, adding some new race types in a big open city to cruise around in. The actual racing in Need for Speed Underground 2 is still pretty good, but unfortunately, most of the stuff you do in between races keeps you away from the game's best moments. And it gets worse from there. Moving on. Overshadowed by three big sequels this fall, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Half-Life 2, and Halo 2. Um, Regardless, it was the best-selling game in 2003, and that's something that should not be ignored. It is a huge makeover, improving on every aspect of last year's version by building an impressive level of depth in every facet of the gameplay. An arcade racer by nature, Need for Speed Underground 2 expands into many new territories with a deep, complex progression system. It builds out an impressive customization mode, which was lacking in last year's model and Need for Speed Underground, and furthers its reach into America's trendy import Turner culture with the appropriate dialogue music in addition to all of the other things. The game also has SUVs and big trucks and things to that effect. The result is a startling 40 plus hours of gameplay that's well composed, packed with aggressive AI, and perhaps a little too big for its own good. It is a big game. Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. And there's a lot of optional material. Just straight up optional races. There's hidden races. There's races that you can be told about and then you can find later. So there is a lot of optional content besides just the main game. You don't even have to finish all the races on a particular map before you will be allowed to move on with the main story. You're given circles all over the map, and those circles designate races, and all of your orange circles are your storyline, which advance the story, and those open up after you've gotten, I guess it's reputation, so much reputation, they'll open up. And then if you finish those, your map will actually clear at certain points, and new races will be on the map. So yeah, there is a lot in this game in that respect. If you just stick to the main storyline, it's not 40 hours. But if you were to play all the extras and the side stuff and the side races, oh, easily 40 hours, if not more. I know I've got like 60 hours recorded, so yeah, it's a big game. And it takes me more than one race to beat some of those races, especially the hidden ones that are really hard. Electronic Arts massively expanded Need for Speed Underground 2. The sequel, in the normal sense of the world, instead it's a reinvention derived from the open model made popular by Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto series and racing action games like Midtown uh, and Midnight Club. Comprised of a five-part city, the fictitious urban center known as Bayview is the imaginative ideal for midnight racing speedsters. It's open, large, and filled with half a dozen racing types. Yes. And I guess there's 5 separate times that the entire map will clear and new races will be available to you. It's a very big game if you want it to be. Absolutely. Two worlds that have seen an awful lot of use lately. It's hard to believe Vin Diesel's movie, much less the sequel he ignored, kicked off a fashion that's spread so far and so quickly. No, the whole Turner culture thing was coming to a head on its own, wanting to explode like a badly fitted alloy rubbing on the wheel arch of mainstream consciousness. This man fancies himself a poet. Kind of what I'm doing is reading the best parts of the different reviews that are out there, because the rest of their review is just dissing on the game and are putting in some other BS. I don't understand why these people are game reviewers. It's obvious that they don't like what they're doing, and that comes out in their writing. So I've tried to filter through that and just, kind of give you the basics of what the game actually is, not their opinions on the game. They say once again you have to start from scratch, just like in the first game. To start, you get a very slow car, and thus the racing can be somewhat boring to start with. The best part in this game, you'll get a full open city to roam around in, yes, and it's a pretty large city. Fixed racetracks, just like you had in the first game. Starting out, not all parts of the city are open. They will unlock as you progress through the game career mode. But it's really nice to have the big open city to race in. Also, the new addition is the actual street racing. In this, it's a first for the Need for Speed series. All races took place in the circuits, and you never got to move freely in the city. They totally changed that in this new version. You can roam around the city and find other street racers on the road to race with you. It's a really cool idea. It's kind of a pain because they don't really tell you where you're going sometimes, or it's telling you like a split second before you got to be there. So it does make it difficult. You got to kind of learn what those racers want you to do before you race them. They say, unfortunately, the street racing won't fetch you any large amounts of money for the game. All that was present in the original Need for Speed Underground is there in Need for Speed Underground 2. There is the normal circuit, sprint, drag, and drift races, and the new addition to this is the Street X racing. Street X is basically normal racing on drift tracks. Yes. Excuse me. And then your actual story mode are your URL Underground Racing League tracks. As these appear on your map, you'll be able to progress the story by racing in those particular races. Okay, well, that's my review of Need for Speed Underground 2. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.